Should surprise no one, I've started another project in a few days over Easter. Years ago, there was a game called Moonbase Commander. It was a turn-based strategy game where each player took turns covering a moon in a network of thingies. So first thing I started on was generalizing my radial interface that I came up with for the space game I was working on. So now it's much more general purpose, and it works in any orientation. And it works great. So in Moonbase Commander, you start with a single hub. At the moment, it's just a white cylinder. And you expand from this location by flinging out hubs, and then you can teleport to those hubs. There you go. So there's my original hub, and it leaves this trail behind it. And so you expand your empire by throwing out various buildings, building a network. And so there might be a resource patch over there, and so you've got to put resource collectors on it. And there's an interesting sort of risk reward thing, like do you try to crowd a bunch of resource collectors on one resource patch, because if one blows up, they all blow up, and so on and so forth. And it's an interesting game. So I've only implemented two things. I've got the hub, which you can teleport to, and you can launch any type of thing from these hubs. These are the expensive ones. They cost. I just tried to point to the orb with my left hand, but you can't see that. So they cost 7 resources. There's another category that costs 3 resources, another category that costs 1 resource. One of the 1 resource things is a bomb, which at the moment is just a white sphere. So if I grab this bomb, just drop it, you see it explodes everything that was attached to it, everything that's downstream from it. So that adds an interesting strategic layer, because you've got to protect this. You can't have too much branching out from one thing, because then you're setting yourself up for failure. So at the present, you throw things. So you grab them with your grip controllers and you go hoik, and you throw them. Now this feels a bit shit. It shouldn't feel shit, but it does feel shit, because I've had to sort of fudge it a bit for balance reasons. So if you've got a big play space, say let's walk over here, and your hub's there, and you're standing way over in the corner here. If you're standing in the corner, you can throw further than someone who's got a smaller play space. So the throws must originate from this hub, which means that it doesn't matter if I'm standing over here. Oh, there's my chair. Well, I'm standing over here and I throw that way. You see it teleported from my hand to just above this hub, and that's because the trail must come from this hub. And so even though, let's do that again, stand over here. See, I'm throwing it over here, but it teleports from my hand over to above the hub to throw it. And that sort of doesn't feel very satisfying. It disjoints the physicality of it. It just feels wrong when you're throwing it. It doesn't feel satisfying, which is an intractable problem, because the trails need to come out from this hub, and everything needs to be ranged from this hub, and so on and so forth. So I'm thinking the way I might solve this is instead of throwing, I'll replace it with like a slingshot kind of mechanism, which is a shame, because throwing is a fun interaction in VR, but it sort of gets ruined if you try to throw and you're not releasing it directly above there, because then there's this disconnect. So you notice that I'm playing on a sphere. The original Moonbase Commander, the way the map wrapped around meant that you were playing on a torus. But I think a sphere is more intelligible in a 3D environment than a torus. So you notice the horizon is now twisting around me. Oh, I'm going to fix that, don't worry. It'll just be like a spacescape or, I don't know, something. So now I'm on the very opposite end. So this is where your opponent would start, on the very opposite end of the globe, of the moon, if you like. So let's teleport all the way back. So if I'm standing here and I throw a bomb, and then blows up all of those links. No, damn it, I missed it. Can I teleport around the globe? No. Oh, I can. Yes. So I can chase the explosion. Oh, I'm going to get stuck on the other side of the Earth, aren't I? Well, I'm going to have to fix that. I might teleport you back to the closest node if your node explodes. Boom, 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 pop. Oh, no. But yeah, I'm going to get stuck on the other side of the planet with no means of getting home. Unless I can race it. Oi. So at the moment, obviously, it's not turn-based and it's not multiplayer, it's just me. But so I mentioned earlier that throwing is fun, but doesn't work for balance reasons because I have to make it feel not fun in order for it to be balanced. So what I'm thinking is more of a slingshot mechanism where you grab a hold of the orb. Like when you select from the menu, it spawns the thing you need to throw or project, I guess. Hey, you made it. Just above the orb, and you sort of grab it, pull it back, and then release it, and it goes zoom and throws out and zooms out. So it sort of contextualizes it a bit better while keeping the balance aspect of it intact. But I don't know. I really like the throwing. I just wish there were a way of making the throwing feel good and also have the throw come from here every time. I considered like putting a valid throw zone cylinder. I get caught up with this. Coming up from here, and you had to release the throw over it. But that doesn't feel very good either. Because if you screw it up, like, oh no, I was slightly outside the cylinder or the circle, the sphere, that makes it a valid throw. So I don't know. I think I might try the pull back and release thing. So I've got just the bomb and the hub. I don't know why that spins. I'm sure there's a fun reason for it. And I haven't got any 3. It just creates a 3. But let me just pop this off. Where's my mouse going? Here we are. So there's 6 things in each category, each price category. There's lots of interesting stuff like bomb, cluster bomb, anti-air, balloons for fog of war, recycling mines, EMPs, viruses that spread throughout the network, and assault hubs that can only use weapons and can't use buildings, and shields and energy collectors and crawlers. And there's lots of stuff. There's lots of strategic depth to it. And because I'm not really that good at game design, I think I'll just be heavily inspired by it, I should say. If somebody has a good idea for how to do a throwing mechanic that maintains the balance aspect of the origination point, has to be above the hub, other than the catapult or the slingshot, let me know. Bye-bye.